Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and I'm here with something to show you guys. I have got Deadzone, pull it up this way, the 3rd edition. So this came out recently. It is kind of a comparison of, Games Workshop, Necromunda, Kill Team type of game, that smaller squad, skirmish, tactical level. Gameplay comes with a bunch of minis, a bunch of terrain, a lot of cool stuff. Let's dip down to the table and show you guys what all's in the box. And this is basically Mantic Games' answer to Necromunda, right? So if you know Necromunda from Games Workshop, it's a game where it's skirmish, small level skirmish. You have a squad roughly sized versus a squad. And that's basically the gist of this game. Now, it's not exactly like Necromunda. It's more kind of like Necromunda and Kill Team mixed together, both parts of them, into their version of a game. It's its own standalone thing. But this is the 3rd edition of their starter set. And honestly, I've said this before. I've talked about Mantic Games. I've talked about Warlord Games. And Games Workshop is becoming so expensive now. I think their next set coming out for Necromunda, it's called Ash Waste, here in a couple of months, and it's looking to be like $200 for just the base set, the 2-player starter set. And it's just outrageous. You can get this for 100, maybe under, maybe a touch over, just depending on where you get it. And more often than not, that includes shipping, depending on where you're coming from. And the components are right there on par with Games Workshop stuff. So I'm kind of like, why would I go Games Workshop when I can go someone else, and the extra money that I would have spent for Games Workshop stuff, I can have, another team, another army, or a different game. But anyway, we're going to take a quick look at this. I've gone ahead and pulled the center box out. This is just the box cover, but here on the back, it does show you what all the game comes with. And that's another bonus, is a lot of times the Killzone, Necromunda stuff doesn't come with quite as much. Like, it might not come with all the books, or you might need dice or terrain, depending on the game. But we got dice, we've got miniatures, we've got terrain features, which are actually nice terrain features. The only drawback I would probably say is the gaming mat itself, and you guys will see that when we open up the box. But if you have Core Space or any of their iterations or their types of terrain, it's the same size as this gaming mat, and it's neoprene. This one's paper. And it does show you a couple of images of the actual size of the miniatures. These rat guys just look friggin' cool. Those claws, armor, and then the GCPS. Not exactly sure what that stands for. Basically, soldiers. All right, so let's just take a look in the box. And mainly, it's a buttload of plastic, which you would expect to be in a box like this, but there is some resin stuff in here as well. And voila, I went ahead and pulled it all out, and I've separated it into kind of its factions. That way I could show you guys a little bit easier than trying to pull out just a box full of stuff piece by piece. So we'll touch on this last, but just to show you, over on this side, these are all the sprues that have the green guys, the humans. And you see arms, legs, different assortments of heads. Same thing here. It looks like these are similar, so we get a couple of the same type sprue, and then one that looks like it has an assortment of some special weapon. Oh, no, that's the rat guys. So we've got a couple of sprues of the humans, their miniatures, all the cool stuff they come with. As far as the rat guys, if I divided these guys out correctly, it looks like we get 3 sprues of theirs. 2 like this that have, again, assortments of guns, stabby weapons, different heads, arms, different combinations to put them together, which I do like. 2 of the same sprue, and then a 3rd one here that looks like it has some of those heavier weapons that you guys were seeing. And then here's some of the heads, bodies, feet. It looks like, I really like the look of these weapons here, these drill looking weapons. Those things look really, really freaking cool. Gotta give them props for that one. Now, as far as the minis go, that's not all that comes with it. We do have an assortment of bases that come with it. So here's all the bases for our minis. And there's one freebie in there. And then there is an assortment of bigger bases, little wooden ones. And these are for the minis that are a little bit bigger. I think the drill rats are a little bit bigger. But that's not all. It does include an assortment of some resin ones that they bubble packed for a little bit more sturdy packaging, which I do appreciate. And the one problem, though, is that Manic Games, I've had a little bit of a problem with some of their resin stuff previously. So I'm not going to ding them just yet on that, but I'm hoping this is good stuff. I think this is the leader for the human forces, and those resin pieces look good. They do look good. And I think this piece broke off from here. It was probably supposed to be attached there, but a little trimming will fix that right up. Oh yeah, that's the girl from the cover. See if you guys can see that. If I can get her head to focus in there just right. But yeah, the girl right here, who I have already decided to name something specific. I got a cool character name for, but I'm not going to reveal that to we're playing. So it looks like the leader gets their own resin mini. We've got that one for the humans, and for the rats, this is some nice looking resin pieces. Actually, I gotta say the detail's looking good on that. The problem I've had before is sometimes, especially when you're cutting these, it's nice because the way resin works, right? You know, it gets injected in there and it solidifies and all that good stuff. I don't think these print the same way like a resin 3D printer prints. I could be wrong on that, but it looks like this is molded, and this is where the material would come in and solidify into the mold. But cutting off there, that big connection can sometimes leave marks, and you have to trim it down and make sure you get a good edge on that so it doesn't leave any marks. But that body piece does look really good. I don't think I'm gonna pull out all the pieces in here. It looks like some of them did break off, but they are coated if you look at the bottom. So there should be instructions on how to put these guys together, but it doesn't help you very much if all the pieces break off like these did. So you're not exactly sure, but it's one rat, so you should be able to put it together. And you see like that leg where it broke off a little bit of edging there. You have to worry about trimming up, but nothing too bad. And it's got some nice detail to it. We got a little bit of flashing we've got to trim off. Nothing too horrible, but this guy's going to be really fun to paint, I think. So we got that. Each leader comes resin. That's nice. And then we've got a bunch of plastic ones. So what is it? 11 total for the green guys, the green humans, and then 13 total for the yellow rat people. As far as dice go, you get 2 bags, one special side of one special bag of D6s specific to the game, and then some generic D8s to use with the game. Now, the cool part is that's all the plastic for the miniatures, which means everything else here, this is all terrain. All of this is terrain. I mean, look how much terrain you get in this bag. That is a buttload of nice plastic, 28 mil to 32 mil, depending. I mean, they're interchangeable. You can use them with either terrain, and they do connect. They have their own little special way of connecting, which are these little pegs here. See if you guys can see that. So these are the little connector pieces to connect all that together, but you end up with that. Now, of course, this is terrain that's already been primed and painted and done up. So it's not table ready. This isn't like some of the stuff like Core Space has where you just plug and play, punch it out, and you're good to go. You're gonna have to fully model all this stuff together, but this is firmer, it's plastic. You can paint it to whatever you want it to look like, but it's going to take you a little bit of time. You're not going to get this set out and have it at the table in a quick minute unless you don't care about your minis being painted. A bag full of assorted type terrain like ladders and tanks, you know, like storage tanks, stuff like that. Looks like maybe some computer bits, just some cool looking stuff there. Let's see, that's another bag of connectors. He's looking for some of the more interesting pieces. There are some smaller ones like these that create little edges where it looks like it's been kind of torn away. Gives you that second level feel, some debris. But the majority of it is going to be this type stuff. And okay, here we go. We got a bag full of stuff like these duct fans. Looks like that sign that you saw painted up on the back of the box. Maybe some doors, maybe some computer pieces, just cool terrain. And the majority of it is going to be this type of stuff. It's all the same square shape, but these are going to be your walls and or ceilings that'll go, you know, on top, clipped together to give you that nice 3D terrain. I think this is going to look great once it's all put together. I'm not opening it up to show you guys specifically out of the bag. I do apologize that because I know there's a little bit of glare on this, but on the off chance that the terrain is specific for specific pieces, I don't want to get it all mixed up just yet. So I'm going to keep them in the bags that they come with just in case until I figure it out. And then looks like some roof pieces and then some either walkways or railing. Looks like maybe a little bit of both here in this bag. But the terrain, it's awesome. I gotta say, the amount of terrain you get in this box is phenomenal, right? Look at all this that you get to put together, paint it up, and it's really gonna give you that 3D feel like you're actually getting to get the guys up on upper levels and get sight lines down, get cover, get them moving around in all these different places. It's going to look so cool on the table. Really reminds me of Core Space in the way that all this sets up, but the terrain is even better. Unfortunately, you're going to have to put in the work to get it table ready. All right, so that's it for all the plastic. The rest of this is just some admin tokens. It looks like maybe ammo, maybe hit markers, flame, I'm assuming, victory points. Not sure what these represent. Maybe control points that you're going for. And then the back side of those markers. And I think we've only got one sheet of actual markers that we have to worry about, which is kind of nice, not too much. Getting started. Yeah, see, assembling your models, how to put them all together. And show you guys just a little bit in there how the guys go together, and then assembling your terrain, how to put it all together to make it look good, which of course I'm going to do this after I get it painted up. And then some ideas for your first game on how to go with it. Start a little small just for a learning game, but yeah, we're not going to start small, we're going to go big. Now this is what I was talking about of the mat. This is the game mat, which I'm probably not going to be able to get all in there, but it roughly looks like a 2x2, which is the size of a Core Space mat, neoprene mat, and I've got a handful of those, so I'm probably going to use that instead because it'll, I think, look a little better. Unless these squares mean anything for game purposes, but I don't think they do. I think that just kind of gives you an idea of where to put the terrain. I'm hoping they don't, but if they do, I'll have to deal with it. And it looks like the backside of this has some player 80 type stuff and some information. So if you end up using your own mat, you can use this as an extra player aid, which is nice. And this is one of the things that I really like about this is they include what you need, like the full thing. Not like a starter rule book, not like just a little getting started, hey, buy our $50 rule book to go along with it, but the whole damn rule book. Looks good, shows you everything you need to know, you're good to go. And on top of that, we've got our force list. Skirmishes on the Forsaken Worlds. And I'm hoping this is going to list down all of them, which it does. And this is awesome to me because this gives me the option to not have to buy their miniatures if I don't want to. Now they, come with all the miniatures. You can get all these different forces because we have the GCPS and the rat guys. I forget what they're called. I think they're called the Veermen is what their names are. But we have multiple different ones. The Asterians, the Enforcers, the Forge Fathers, which are basically future dwarfs, or what are they called now? The GW is releasing a new line, the Stunts, Marauders, Maison Labs, the Nameless, the Plague, which are, pretty much zombies, or the Reps. So you have all the information that you need. These are basically all their codexes in one book. Good to go. So if I've got other minis that I want to stand in, I can play this game having those other forces without having to buy a bunch of extra stuff. GW does not do that. Manta Games does that. I think I got to give them props on that one, that they're giving the player the choice. Not making them buy their shit to play the game gives you some options. But just as an example, the Plague guys, like the Necromancer version, the zombies, space zombies, I gotta give them props. Those minis look freaking phenomenal, especially like this thing, this Plague Striker looking thing over here. That looks awesome. The Aberration looks really friggin' cool. I mean, these other zombies, they're just, Space Marine zombies. But some of these minis look really friggin' good. I might want to get some of these later just to run these guys. Also, they did just release a new Firefight, their Firefight 2nd edition, which is their answer to 40K. And that has basically the Space Orcs and the Fudge. I can't remember what the other force is called. It's not the Rebs. It's the guys with the white armor. But basically, if you got that set, you would be able to play those guys using this as well. So if you got into the Firefight thing and you wanted to try Deadzone, if you got this Deadzone thing, you would already have the forces that you need, the minis that you need to use the orcs and those other fellas. Here we go. Took me a sec to find them. It's called the Enforcers. So the Firefight 2nd edition, which, gotta admit, I would give them the same props that I'm giving to Deadzone, that they have a good amount of miniatures and all you need to play the game, good source of starting 2 armies. And it's got the orcs and these enforcer guys. So if you got into Firefight and you wanted to try Deadzone, which is, their kill teamy Necromunda type game, you would already have those 2 armies plus the 2 armies that come with the Deadzone pack, which I think is cool. They did not use the same forces for both, and they could have done that, and it probably would have saved them some cost if they had done that, mass produce those. But that makes it to where people are more likely to get the Firefight 2nd edition and the Deadzone 3rd edition, because now you're getting more for your money. You're not getting more of just the same minis that you already have. All right, but that's it. That's everything that comes with it. Looks cool, looks awesome. I'm going to be putting it together in the background while I'm filming other stuff. I'm always got a handful of minis that are on my table getting painted. I've got a good chunk now done for Flames of War, which will be getting filmed here very soon as I get their terrain finished up. Paper terrain, by the way, if you're looking for some 15 mil, I'm shouting those guys out every time I get a chance. But yeah, gotta say, from what I'm seeing, I think Manta Games is putting out some good stuff. Really enjoying the look of all this, and I cannot wait to try out the game itself. I'm hoping the game plays as well as all the components look. All right, that's gonna be it for this one. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.